just a totally ground floor album for us, this one.
Yeah, I remember when it came out. It was like an explosive moment, and she came to New Zealand and played the King's Arms. I missed it. I missed out.
I think she played the King's Arms on the Split Peas.
Yeah.
And then on this record, she came back, and she was one of the very last concerts at the St. James.
Yeah, which is a theatre in New Zealand that was closed for a long time and then opened for a very brief period of time. It's now closed again and knocked down, and people are trying to get it going again. But anyway,
Save it.
Yeah, she did a great show. I loved this album. I feel like it's my favourite track from it. It's the swimming one, Aqua Profunda. Love that song. Yeah. It's like, was it like 2 minutes of glory? It's great.
Yeah, oh, this is a big record for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, because this is kind of like their power pop record in a way. Like this has their most rocky songs, that has their most like rock production stuff. And I think a lot of my friends, we fell in love with Yankee Hotel, and then we sort of took one step back and found Being There and felt like it was another great record and a double record and so much to dig into. Yeah, it's a nerdy kind of like, it's all got the nerdy lead synthesizers and things like that. Like it has kind of a bit of a Cars feel to it sometimes, and you know.
Oh, that's a beautiful record. So I feel like this is the record that has Lush Life on it, right? The version that Johnny Hartman is singing on. That's like one of the most beautiful songs of all time, and obviously one of the iconic versions of it, and an iconic record. Yeah, if you haven't listened to that, give it a listen, and then give a listen to Billy Strayhorn.
A-Train train car the other day.
Oh no, we went to the Museum of Public Transport in Brooklyn, and they had just like different train cars from all the different generations of subway, and there was one that was like, you know, this is the kind of car that would have been driving up through Harlem and stuff back in the day, and it was very emotional to be sitting on this train car from the, you know, that would have been rolling in the 1950s and 40s and 60s, and just imagining, you know, everyone getting on with their horn, going to the gig. It was
going to the gig.
Wonderful producer Jonathan Pierce.
Yeah, this is one of mine.
One that I remember when you first started tracking the songs from it. It was like late 2018, I think, after we had just come back from our first couple international tours, and you smashed out a bit of the recording for that during that period of time.
Yeah, they're really exploratory in the studio, and they came in with kind of like quite sketchy ideas. They were really adventurous in the studio, and lots of improvisation, and you know, I would try to throw things at them to provoke some new angle for each song and things like that. And you know, so someone would just mention, "Oh, Arrow Through Me," Paul McCartney song. I really love the drums in that, and so we would straight away, you know, everyone would be getting all the tea towels that we could find, and getting all the littlest drums we could find, and trying to tune and like follow whatever whim that person had in that time, and it was all really fast and immediate, and really satisfying record to work on.
So I didn't grow up with like the cool records. So it was like I was like in my early 20s and working at the library, and I got Wave of Mutilation, the kind of the compilation CD. So I got that out and like just absolutely blasted it for 2 weeks until I had to give it back. And yeah, like I love. It's like a different version of Gigantic is on there than on the album.
The single version is on there.
Yeah, and I prefer that version just because I heard it more.
I don't think you're alone in that.
I really like it, and yeah, it was just my introduction to like all of the bangers, I guess. So like I didn't come through the albums with the Pixies, and I had to listen to them later. So I've even struggled to remember what songs are on which albums, to be honest. So.
Guitar hooks, though, oh my god, that band just turned one string band into the best hook you've ever heard.
Yeah, that was something we talked about Best Laid Plans Forever.
Yeah,
where the original version was much more sparse, and then we were kind of like, what would the Pixies do in the chorus?
Put big unison string bands on.
Yeah, why not? I got into Riley Kiley because my friend Chelsea made me some like mix CDs, and that's how she got me into. I got into Rabbit Fur Coat first, and then but I had heard some of the tracks from More Adventurous from these mix CDs, and I remember I was on a geography field trip to where's the big mine? Why he? Geography field from Waihi, and there's a little record store, and everyone popped up to get lunch, and I just like ran in, and I saw that they had More Adventures by Riley Kiley.
They had More Adventures by Riley Kiley in the Waihi records. I just don't believe you. I don't think that.
Well, that's where I got it from, and I had my CD walking with me, and I remember I watched with the canon, and I was like, oh, have you heard of Rabbit Fur Coat? It's a whole album, and I was like, have I heard of Rabbit Fur Coat?
I covered it. I busked that album in the Howick shops.
Yeah. I've re-recorded that entire album in its entirety with my friend Chelsea and put it on MySpace. So yeah, but no, and then I listened to More Adventurous on the bus on the way down to, well, I guess on the way back from Waihi. A wonderful field trip day if you want to learn about mining.
Oh man, Holly's the goat.
And she's there's no other word for this.
She's OP. She's OP. She is like the most virtuosic fingerstyle guitar player with an absolutely perfect kind of gritty singing voice, and work through really hard songs, like be a virtuoso songwriter as well. She's just incredible.
But she can find these hooks there as well. Like hooks sounds like a shallow word for what they are, but they are like these little melodies and ideas that stick in your head in a really beautiful way. What's an Olympic Girls? It's got
Olympic Girls, yeah. Olympic Girls is a crazy song. Olympic Girls is the song you take to a songwriting competition. Well, actually not a songwriting competition, a songwriting fight. If you need to win a songwriting fight, you take Olympic Girls and you turn up with your guitar and you do the alternate tuning, crazy finger-picking hammer-on pull-off thing, and then sing that beautiful melody with those words. And, I mean, you're going to win the fight. You're going to devastate your opposition.
Yeah. TKO.
Right here. I'm downstairs in your window.
This was a big record for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When did you first hear it?
As a teenager, and it was like... I think it was the first Sonic Youth record that I heard, so I don't think I realised that it was noisy art musicians coming to some slightly more poppy, accessible songwriting. I kind of heard it like, this is power pop songwriters doing noisy art music, and I thought that was so fun, and I've been trying to be transgressive ever since and failing.
Keep trying.
I'll keep trying.
We're guitar music heads, but also we are jazz school nerds, and that album has there's a reason why it sticks around. It's like it's so Technicolor, and there's so much beautiful what's the word I'm looking for? Like all of the little tiny, like it's like zooming in on a picture and you see all the tiny little details. That's what listening to this album feels like. It's just it's nice to hear sometimes music by a very finicky, like
uptight.
It's just uptight music made by tyrants, and like something about that sometimes it's just like it's just beautiful, like the craft of like building these songs. I just love it, and I love Donald Fagen's weird singing voice and songwriting voice, like the way that his language is so kind of like obscure and I don't know. I'm a big fan. I love it, and I think that's why I think it's that. Especially when we first started the band, like my relationship with Coolness is, I feel like it's a non-starter. So I feel like I don't know, but I've always loved Ben Folds ever since I got introduced to that record, and then the first record as well, just the self-titled. I really love. Like I love that it's a band where you can hear the band. You can hear when is it Robert Sledge and Darren Jesse? You can hear when they're singing. You can hear what they're playing. It feels like a band, and I love that. That's why I love bands. I love songwriters as well. Like I love both, and it's nice hearing the hands on the instruments, hearing the tempos moving around, hearing all of that.
This is a foundational record for the Beths that I respect more than I like.
That's
Find a battle, who could care less?